Okay, so we've got one undrafted guy out of Ouachita Baptist who's going into the Hall of Fame next year, and we've got another undrafted guy out of Tulsa University,
Yeah,
Drew Pearson, who is now the lone senior finalist that they'll vote on Super Bowl weekend
yeah,
in February.
right.
How special will it be to be able to go in with Drew next year?
Well, it's, Drew has been like, Drew knows this. He's been like my little brother and really my buddy for since he came onto camp, because I remember our training facility on Forest Lane that Drew was one of the first guys that before the season even started, before he even went to training camp, he was out there running routes with Roger and others. And I was thinking, who is this cocky guy that thinks he can come out here without even making a team and run these routes out here? And he really has proved himself to be a great receiver, and because his determination. And of course, I had to when I did this to the guys I liked, I had to just knock them down when it came to training camp one time and say, welcome to the NFL. But he's a good friend, and I'm so happy for him. I've been talking to him after that event and try to bring him up, and that he didn't make it, and he was in a tough state, but he hung in there, and we've stayed close and talked all this time. And I was one of the first guys to congratulate him when he hadn't made it yet, but and I hope, if you think that when he didn't make it last time when he was a finalist, and this time there's nobody else, he doesn't get the vote, somebody needs to be with him this time to check on him and keep him in a suit, some kind of straight suit that to keep him from doing any harm to himself.
One of the things, though, the emotion that Drew showed when he didn't get in, and that the emotion that he's going to show when he does get in. I'm going to keep it positive here.
Yeah.
But that goes to the person that Drew Pearson is, and probably why he was so successful in his football career and after his football career too, is that passion that he lived life with.
Oh my gosh, he really does, and he's so expressive, and that emotional guy. I mean, he's a real guy from what he is. He's consistent with his feelings, and good, bad, and I would say sometimes extreme, but and that's what made him, having had that big heart. That's what he's got. He said, call me right after. He said, hey, Cliff, another free agent in the Hall of Fame, So I was like, yeah, that's right, Drew. We're brothers. I guarantee we are.
It's interesting when I talk with Cowboys players from the 60s and 70s, and so many of you successful after your playing days. And I think it speaks a lot to the how bright you are, how the high character, and how important is it to have those type of high character players on a team when a football team is put together that translates into success?
Well, I can tell you that, Tom Landry, was the core of that. He is a Christian, and I'll never forget one time, we were going to a game, and he sat down there and asked me, going to a game, said, are you a Christian? I said, yes, sir. And I sure am. He said, well, that's good. And we talked for a while about that. But think about that, the significance of that. And, but, he also was very disciplined for us too. And if you didn't fit into that system, you were going to be gone. There were a lot of guys that were great talents that Coach Landry got rid of because they didn't fit his system and they didn't fit his discipline. And if you didn't do that, you'd be gone. And thank goodness. I just don't know. His system, the flex defense, it was such a such an incredible machine for me that I was really blessed to have him, such a man of character. He made us wear ties on road trips. We had devotionals on Sunday before the games, and so I mean I think about other teams that I could have played with during that era, and they didn't have the complex defenses that we had, and I don't know that I would have been as good in that as I was in a system that fit me perfectly. And he was a great man.
Fast forward to today, and you talk about culture on a football team. In the news this past week, Earl Thomas let go by the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of talk that the Cowboys need to upgrade at the safety position. What are your thoughts? Yeah, but Earl, obviously the reason the Ravens let him go, he got in a fight with a teammate. There's been some issues that Earl has had. How important is that culture, and how do you look at that situation if the Cowboys should upgrade at that position?
Well, I know that I mean, I've fit into a system that was a disciplined system. I know things have changed. They make a lot more money. There's a lot more individualism. There's not, one team doesn't stay together forever. And, but, gosh, I mean, it would be a real tough decision, because I think why break up a team or take a chance you could break up a team with a guy that has not been a team player for a long time. Of course, we did get Terrell Owens, and a few other players that we've gotten, and they stayed around for a while. Maybe they contributed a little bit, but I'm going to have to just wait and see. I think he's going to be. We'll just wait and see. I hope it doesn't. Maybe McCarthy can control him. That's what I'm hoping for.
Well,
if he get him,
take it back to the Cowboys of the '70s, and there was a pretty good running back who helped this Cowboys team win a Super Bowl against the Dolphins, Dwayne Thomas, and he wasn't even speaking with teammates during that season, and he wasn't here long after that.
No, that's right. And, Dwayne and I came in the same year, and he was an incredible player. And I became friends with him. And in the beginning of the year, we ran kickoffs back together. And then one day in practice, Craig Morton threw a pass to him, and it split his fingers. It hit between them and split his fingers. And I went over to him and said, Dwayne, what you happen to your hand? He said, what are you, a doctor? And but I know that his life could have been so much better. I think he was influenced down the wrong path by another famous player, and really didn't know at the young age, these guys were 21 and 22 and 23 years old, didn't know what the future could have been for him if he had towed the line a little more. And it didn't work for Coach Landry. I wish it could have for Dwayne Thomas, because I think deep down he was really a good guy.
Finally, starting in 1970, your first year in the league, there was a 25-year period for the Cowboys where this franchise went to 8 Super Bowls, won 5 Super Bowls, and now it's been 25 years since the Cowboys. This will be the 25th season since the Cowboys were back at the Super Bowl. How surprised are you by that, and how close do you think they are to getting back there?
Are you talking about this year? That's the thing that you're saying. I mean, who knows this year with McCarthy coming in as a new coach and it being so disjointed. And I think if he had the chance to say, hey, well, let's wait for next year, that he might have done that and said, but I know that he's a great coach. I mean, and he had a great quarterback with Aaron Rodgers that and I believe in Dak. I think he can do it. I think that Dak can do it under these circumstances of this year. There's no telling. I think that you just throw all the balls up in the air the way that you do. And we've got, Mike Nolan is the defensive coordinator, and they're going to change the defense up. It seems a year that is so disjointed in the beginning. To add that becoming a new coach in there is going to be a challenge for him, I'll say. But I know he's got a great system and a quality coach. So I'm pulling for him. And I've been saying this for 25 years. We're going to get the Super Bowl this year, and that's what I'm hoping. First of all, I hope we have a season, and then they count it as a Super Bowl when we play. That's what I hope.
It'll still
go
count.
Cowboys.
One more question for you. Have you had a chance to look at your Hall of Fame bust?
Yes, I have. Scott Myers is a sculptor, and he, just by chance, he's in Granbury, and the other sculptor is, I think, in Utah, and so Scott came to my house, had a ton of pictures, and started taking pictures, and then I went down to Granbury about a month and a half ago or 2 months ago, and saw the actual bust, and he was working on it with me sitting there and everything. I've got a picture I'll send to you, but I think he's just incredible. I mean, it's really a weird world when you're looking at yourself face to face. And I think he made me better looking than I really am, though. So I liked him. I think he did a really good job. It's going to be something. They're coming out with a porcelain. They give you a porcelain one, and then the bronze goes to Canton.
Did he make you as good looking as Charlie Waters?
I think, yes, I think I could. That bus is going to challenge that. It has to be of a certain era. You had to like that handlebar mustache that I had at that time too, though.